All right, man. This is officially episode 94 of Manifest Mondays. We got my man Zenas in the building.
Yes, sir.
We got my man Diamond in the building.
We here.
And, and we got myself, Ramond. All right. And today, man, we got a interesting topic, man, that I think is going it could go either way, right? Like it's a real um ambiguous topic, right? So I wanted to talk about we wanted to talk about financial success versus cultural relevance, right?
Hmm.
Sometimes they can be the same, but sometimes they can be completely different, right?
Right.
And for backstory, recently I was watching a interview with EYL, right, Earn Your
Yeah.
Leisure, and they were asking them like how they pick uh the main speakers for InvestFest, and they said they have to have financial success or be extremely successful in whatever their field is, and they
Right.
also have to have cultural relevance though,
Oh
right?
wow.
So like the difference might be someone, and he was like cultural relevance might be like Magic Johnson spoke this year, and he's
Right.
extremely successful, but also has the cultural relevance within the culture, right? Like everybody knows who he is. He's done a lot of things for the community. You know what I mean? We've seen the business built in real time, from everything from the Lakers all the way up to his businesses. Versus maybe like I think he said he had the CEO of Chick-fil-A there one year, and he was just walking around and nobody knew him. So the success is there,
Right.
but the cultural relevance not necessarily wasn't, right?
Yeah.
So I just want to kind of kick it off with asking y'all, man, um, first off, do you guys think both of those things are important?
Damn. Uh,
Yeah. I personally do. Absolutely.
I mean,
Mm,
I'll
well,
say.
well,
Go ahead, Z.
I think it. I think it's subjective, right? It depends on the person, right? Um, because cultural relevance almost sounds like popularity, right? Like
Right.
almost like fame. And granted, I do. It is nice to be recognized for your talents and your abilities and whatnot, in order to be relevant, right? But I could be successful and nobody know me, and that wouldn't bother me at all. Like not having the cultural relevance. Um, I think just honestly being financially free and successful in what it is that I want to do is more important than anything else than the cultural relevance. Because, like for instance, what's his name? The dude, the retired, he was a retired NBA player. He actually just recently passed, but he was a
Willie
billionaire who,
Bridgman.
yeah, he owned a bunch of like Wendy's franchises, and just overall just a brilliant businessman. But like nobody, I, like I said, I even forgot his name, right? So it's just
Right.
like, um, I don't know if there's like necessarily a huge cultural relevance there, like in regards to like what he did, but no one could deny his financial success, So I think in an ideal world, like yeah, like cool, but it also depends on like what it is that you're trying to accomplish and what you want to be
Right.
known for.
Man, that's a really good take, Z. I would say, man, it kind of like going along with what Zena said. I think it depends too, right? Because at the end of the day, you can be successful and you can have cultural relevance, but not at a certain level. For example, like right now, Tim Cook, right? He's the CEO of Apple, right? Is that
Hmm.
am I saying it? Yeah. But like speed, I show speed. So I would say technically like more people recognize speed right now than
Yeah,
Tim Cook, right? So at the
yeah,
end of the day, like does he not have cultural relevance? So it just kind of like depends how you're looking at it from a perspective. If you're talking about viral content, who people gonna recognize when you're in the street, I would say that Speed will have more cultural relevance than him. By the end
yeah,
of the day, he's one of the CEO of the biggest corporation, Apple. So to me, that's cultural relevance. So I mean, it just all depends on what exactly you're trying to like, what you really trying to, what really cultural relevant means to you. Because I mean, I would say they
yeah.
both have cultural relevance, but it's just different.
I completely agree, bro. Because I think when you were saying that, you think about Tim Cook, and a lot of people don't know the name. At least
Right.
people that we know might not know the name Tim Cook, but
Right.
CEO of Apple, right? So in a roundabout way, he has a lot of cultural relevance
Right.
Yeah.
because Apple is in every culture, right?
Facts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he might be like more culturally relevant. It might just be different. Sometimes it's different in from the black community too,
Right.
but just from specific different communities of what we did. I kind of don't all the way look at them as the same sometimes as
Yeah.
like fame and culturally relevant.
Right.
Um, because it just I think about whatever the culture is are you relevant to it, right? So
Right.
I think it's important for that sense of like for the culture, like are you doing things relevant for the culture that you come from or that you're
Right.
building, or you know what I mean? And like I said, I was watching that interview with Earn Your Leisure. It was really interesting because what they started talking about is how there's people that kind of go through the chain of life, right? Like
Right.
I went to the Ivy League school and I went to Wall Street, and then those people might be looking at somebody who's you know um a social media influencer that put on
Right.
like a financial conference and be
Right.
like, why are they verified to do that? Like, why
Right.
should they
Yeah.
have why are they in position to be able to do something like that? They didn't go to schools. I went to Wall Street.
Right. Harvard. Yeah.
All these things. They didn't do any of that. The flip side of that is if you did all that, but nobody knows you, right? Were you helping anybody on the way? Right. So
Probably not.
like the person that built this culture and is doing the conference might have helped thousands of people. That's why they're at the conference and they're able to throw it. And they've been
Right.
helping people throughout the way. You might have just won financially and you helped your like the small piece of your family, but just kind of like almost hoarded the knowledge, the information, the resources that you came across the whole time to like a very small group. And then
Right.
point at the other side, like why are they verified to do something like
Right.
this? So
Yeah.
that's why I think it's super interesting when you think about like just financial success versus just cultural relevance, because a lot of times they do mix, but sometimes they don't, man. And I
Yeah.
I personally do think they're both important
Right.
for
And also,
different reasons.
right. And also, I think it's, yeah, because at the end of the day, if you're successful and no one knows you, I mean, it depends, right? Because I think certain people, especially older generation, who doesn't really care about social media that much, right? I think nowadays, in order for you to have cultural relevance, you need to have a social media page. You need to be active on there, right? Because at the end of the day, if you're not, people's going to forget about you. So I think you can still have cultural relevance, but I think nowadays, especially when it comes to like events and stuff, when people are trying to like hire guest speakers, they want like, because all about ticket sales, right? Because you want to bring someone who's coming in is like a business perspective too. Because like I know
Hmm.
DJ Zenas coming in here and people know him, that's more sales I want to make. So at the end of the day,
Hmm.
it's all
Yeah.
about like business too. So they're trying to like bring people in that people know about, so that way they can be able to like sell more tickets too. But it doesn't mean that other person doesn't have cultural. I don't know. It's kind of like a hard tick too, though, right? Because at the end of the day, yeah, you might not know about all my business deal. You might not know about all the people that I help. It doesn't mean I just gatekeep, right? It doesn't mean that I didn't help anyone along the way. I just may be low key. I just never built social media. I never just focused on like online presence, but I was still doing things. I was still like networking, doing all these other things. But however, there's someone out online who's way bigger than me. But that person, maybe they might have all the influence or followers. Maybe they wasn't doing the things. Maybe they didn't help that many people that I did behind the scene. So it just all depends because we never really know.
But in that case, I think I would say you do have cultural relevance then,
Correct.
right? The person
Right.
that, even if it's on the low, but if you know what I'm saying, in the community centers, maybe donating
Right.
time and that, I
Hmm.
think that it doesn't always have to be a
Correct.
million followers.
Right.
Are you relevant to a community kind of, you know what I
Correct.
Hmm.
mean? And I
Right.
Yeah.
think that's where, the difference is. I don't think it's always fame or just recognizing the face. I think,
Right.
like if you out there donating to causes and popping up at the community centers, playing with you know what I'm saying? Like really helping people. I think
Right.
that is relevant to the community and to the culture, you
Yeah.
know?
Right.
Yeah.
But why if you're just doing it financially though? Like why if let's say I become successful, I never really volunteer, but like I just every year I give like a couple meals to charity, whatever. Like I'm behind the scene. No one really know who I am. But every year I'm like donating to like charity, like providing, giving stuff, am I still relevant? Because no one's gonna know who
Hmm.
I am, right? So am
Right.
I still, when it comes to relevancy, will I still be considered like cultural relevant? Because no one know who I am. If I walk out, I can go to an event, no one even recognize me. However, there's somebody out there who has more followers though, and they
Yeah.
haven't even done any of the things that I've done, but they're
Right.
more
Yeah.
recognizable than me. So that's what I'm saying. Just
Hmm.
kind of like nowadays, it's just
Yeah.
hard because I think like social media nowadays, like our resume, right? When you have a bigger following and audience, people that recognize you. Oh, that's DG, that's Ramond, that's the
Hmm.
Spot
Yeah.
Network. However, there might be somebody who low key who's not doing this, but they're actually like going to schools, like making a difference. So I think
Hmm.
it's kind of hard nowadays, to be honest, because I see you can still be cultural relevant without being known.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean,
For sure.
to your example, if you're donating behind the scenes, like if you're like a silent donator, like where no one
Right,
really like knows, um, I don't know if relevant would be the word. It's like you're definitely impactful,
Hmm.
right,
right? I think
Culturally
I, I,
impactful,
I
kind of
think
a
you're
joint.
culturally impactful. I don't know if you're
right,
culturally relevant because no one knows,
right,
right? But do you want it to be known or not, right? Like
right,
I think that's also entirely up to you. So I don't like in that scenario, your impact can't be denied, but I think your
right.
relevance could be denied for sure.
Right. That's a
I
great
mean,
point.
yeah, that's true though. But what about that institution that I'm donating, right? Because now I'm the one who was like funding all these kids to go to school. So damn, like I can argue then I'm relevant because like, without me, there ain't gonna be all these kids that graduated from that program because I'm the one who paid all the tuition and stuff. I was just behind the scene. So even though I'm not recognizable, like my relevancy is still there, but it's just not just publicly known. It's like a company like IPO, right? Before IPO, that company is still there. We can't just buy stocks into that company, but does it mean that company is not like profitable? So it's kind of like the same thing, I don't know. That's how I'm thinking about it. The more I think about it, it's just like
Yeah,
it's still there a little bit. But I see your point though, because most people not gonna know that you're doing that, right? So to them, you're not relevant. But then I could argue like, shit, man, I'm the one who's pay all you motherfuckers to go to school. Without me, there would be none of y'all, you know.
None of y'all have been in class. You know what I'm saying?
Like what I heard like Denzel, didn't we just find out like is it Denzel paid for like Chadwick
yeah,
like is it Bozeman, whatever?
Hmm.
But
yeah,
no one
Hmm.
knew about that until then, right? So I think in
Right.
that context, he was relevant because he helped him, if that story is true, to like reach to that next level. But no one knew about that until now.
Agree. But
yeah,
I think once it's out, it's the information's out now, and I think
Right,
it's a bigger story
correct,
because he's culturally relevant outside of just that.
right, right.
You know
That's
what I mean?
true.
Like there's
Right,
somebody else doing that same thing that's just quite like a
right,
silent donor, like you said.
right,
You never hear their name. You know what I
right,
mean?
hmm
And to be honest, to be honest, I honestly think it is hard to hold the weight of your name being known.
right. Yeah,
That's not an easy thing to do. Some people are silent donors and things like that because they don't want the attention, which I understand. But some
right.
people don't want the weight.
Facts.
They,
That's true.
like it's like they don't want to be like if something goes wrong, it's your fault.
Right. That's
You
true.
know what I mean? If you are in a position where you are culturally relevant, and it's like let's say like we were talking about, just not to keep hitting on it, but that was the name I was thinking of is Magic Johnson, right? Let's say
Right.
he buys like 1% of a company.
Right.
If something crazy goes on with the company, a lot of people are going to be like, Magic Johnson's company
yeah,
Yeah.
is, you know what I mean? He's
Boo boo.
1%. He's 1%. If
yeah,
it did some bullshit and he didn't have nothing to do with it, his
Right.
name's being attached to it
Correct.
holds the weight of being like, that's hard to carry. You
Right.
know what I mean? So I think
Right.
that on the other side of that is that's not an easy thing to do.
Right. Right. But I was saying, just the society that we live in nowadays, though, in order for you to like get more gig and be more recognized, just be more recognizable, right? I think you need to have both, right? It helps to have both, right? Because if you're successful and then no one knows about you, it makes it a little bit harder, especially if you're trying to like be in social media, like, because let's say if we're hiring somebody to like our guest speaker, a person that people know, we're more likely to pay maybe extra on because if they come on this platform, they have all these people they follow, all their audience is going to be out here. They're going to come and show up to
Hmm.
the podcast. They're going to listen to it. So at the end of the day, I think you're going to be more in more demand once you have that relevancy and if you're successful too. So I think just like the day, because we live in a social media world, so I think it's important now to have both to like just maximize your full potential. Now, but can you still make a great life without the cultural relevancy part? I do agree. Because you
Yeah.
don't
Hmm.
need to be known, but I think it just helps you a little bit more, especially when you talked about like Air Leisure, all those like big investment platform. If you want to be a guest speaker on those platforms, it just kind of
Hmm.
like helps to have that relevancy too, instead of just being just only successful and no one know about you.
Yeah.
I think everyone wants to be relevant in their space in a sense, right? Right. Like even
Yeah.
if you don't want your name to be known, if you create uh I don't even want to. I want let's say like a fast food restaurant, right? We were just talking
Right,
about salad and go. If you want your business to be relevant in the space of that, right? Like
right,
Yeah.
I think everyone wants some relevance to what their thing is doing, and that
correct.
sometimes is having a name that in a brand that is polished in a way or that holds some weight. You know what I
Right,
mean? So I just think that I do agree. You can have a really dope life without
right,
that at all.
right,
But it
right,
usually, even if I would say, if you have some type of level of financial success, for the most part, you probably if it's not yourself having the cultural relevance, you're attached to something that does.
right.
Like if you're working for a Fortune 500 company and you're making money there, or you're partnering with a real estate company to, you know what I mean, buy things. It's a reputable real estate company to help you, buy real estate in different areas. You're
Right,
partnering with something that does have relevance still to be
right,
able to build that financial
correct,
success in some way.
right. And also, I'll say sometimes people just want to like being at the back, right? Not everyone's like an extrovert, want to be up front, want to be sane, want to
Hmm.
be known. Some
Hmm.
people just want to be the one, like, producing the music, right? They don't want to be the one singing. Was it Bryson Tiller or who's talked about, like,
Yeah.
I'd rather like goes right for Chris Brown, I mean, not goes right for Chris Brown or Drake than be mainstream. To me, it's like, that's him, like, shit, I don't want to, the fuck this relevancy shit. Like, I just want to be behind the
Yeah.
scene and rap music. I ain't gotta perform. I'm still living a good life too. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, it just depends on like the individual too. Sometimes not
Hmm.
everybody want to be the face. Cause like you said, bro, the face comes with a lot of scrutiny, right? Like you talk
Yeah.
For
about
sure.
LeBron being the face, it comes with a lot.
For
So once
sure.
the Lakers lose, LeBron, they don't care if you had
For
a good
sure.
game. You always to blame. So I think it take a lot of like, you have to have a strong mind, just to be at the top and be at the face of anything. So some
Hmm.
people like they don't have the ability to do all that. Like, you know what? Shit, I'm just gonna be the engineer. I'm just gonna be the songwriter behind the scene, and then Ramon can perform. I'm behind the scene, like he's gonna be known for that. But like, I'm still relevant because I'm the one who wrote the song. So if you're
Hmm.
really into music, you're gonna figure it out. But like, at the end of the day, he's gonna be the one performing. So y'all gonna know him more. But at the end of the day, I'm
Exactly.
still relevant because I'm the one who wrote that. But I'm just like behind the scene.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yes, but yeah. So I don't know. It just depends too, because sometimes people, like I say, like to just sit back and let other people lead the show.
For sure. For sure. I think I just personally battled that a lot of my life, like not necessarily wanting to be the face, but just knowing like if I want something that I'm working on to be working, sometimes I gotta just put it out there. You know what I
Right,
mean? And I
Yeah.
battled that a lot of like wanting to be, on the side of like executive production and working with artists behind the scenes. I've done for a lot of different artists in different ways and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But battling like, you know what I mean? Like if you love to create, sometimes you have to get
right,
that creation out there, and that is a balance. I feel like that a lot of creatives probably deal with, right? Like I love to create. I'm sure that Bryson Tiller loved to create,
right,
but the other side he didn't love. You know what I mean? But
right,
there's, we talked about it before. Is like every job has something that you don't like attached to it, right? Like
right,
no matter what it is, even if it's the thing that you love,
right,
and you started a business around the thing that you love, you probably don't love doing accounting for it, or you love,
right. Facts.
there's things that you still don't love attached to it. So
Yeah.
Right.
it's
So
it's tough.
my question for you guys, since you guys like into music and like artists, so let's say if you made a song, if you're trying to like future somebody, like what are some stuff that you look for? Do you look for someone who's relevant as well as a good singer, a good rapper? Do you look at his social media following as well? Okay, he has more followers. Maybe if I can get him on this track, they can blow. Like, what are some things you gotta look forward to when you like trying to like get somebody to connect and work with?
Great question.
I mean, I think at this stage in my career, um, it's really just about like finding people who are a genuine, but also b talented. I think more than anything, because I feel like talent is something that uh is has kind of gone to the wayside in music. At least, we talk about it all the time in hip hop, right? I think there is a lot of talented individuals out there who are making really good music, specifically in like genres like R&B and whatnot. Um, so I think the biggest thing for me is looking for somebody who's talented, right?
Right.
Because I also just recognize I don't have a huge following, and I can't sit here
Right.
and just be like, oh, I have to, I'm only going to work with people who are like super successful, because I'm not, like, I'm successful in my own right, but like there's a lot of people who still don't know who I am, like don't
Right.
haven't heard my music and those types of things. And so um I think just being realistic and just understanding like what is truly like about for myself, which is making really good quality art.
Right.
And I think the key piece in all that is quality and finding some other people who are quality, because for me it's not just about how good of an artist you are too. I'm very much um a person who's rigid about my values and morals too. So like if somebody's super talented but is like completely like on the other end of the spectrum in regards to like values and morals, and I just don't fuck with this person at all. Like it's
Right.
just like you hella talented, but I just do not fuck with you by any means. I'm not working with that person, because like
Right.
to me energy is everything, right? And I like, they say at work, right, like at work you want to work with people that you enjoy being around, right? Like otherwise, like it just makes the job that much harder, right? Working with somebody that you just don't fuck with, like, like especially like in regards to something that you love to do, it just doesn't make sense, so I think those are the biggest things I like, that I look for when collaborating.
Right.
Yep, I 100% agree with Z. Right. On that second part, that's huge, right? Like, I think we're all probably types of people that just like won't fold on morals and stuff. Like, there's certain things you don't know all the way what anybody's doing behind closed doors, but if it's out
Right.
there and
Right.
it's some shit that we just don't rock with, we probably just not gonna be involved. You know what I mean? That just doesn't make sense, right? For both of us, I feel like for all of us, and whatever that thing is, right? There's certain things I just think that we won't cross, but um. I want to say because I almost fall on the same exact side as the with the quality part, but as I've moved through just um just my career and the types of people that I work with and stuff like that,
Right.
another piece to me that's super important is if they actually take it
Mhm.
serious.
Yeah,
if
facts.
Right.
they take it serious, because there's been a lot of times, when I started, like we weren't always taking it serious and we playing around and stuff like that, and you don't really have a plan for the music, and that's cool, right? Like that is cool, but like if at this stage, if we are like investing time and energy into putting something together, and I really want to be on the same with somebody on the same page with somebody who takes that thing serious, and usually
Facts.
that's just shows by like the consistency and momentum, and sometimes that
Right.
ends up like adding up to the same people that have followers because they have the momentum and the
Right.
push, and they've been, you know what I mean, but it's not always the same. But if I see somebody like talented, of course, first is the big thing
Right.
with me. I'm not just going off the name or the followers. I'm never just doing that. But if they're
Right.
super talented and I see they have like momentum, consistency, and they're consistently trying, that's
Mhm.
who
Right.
I want to work with, because
Yeah.
even if they're a little bit less talented, but they're continuing to go and work and put out stuff, I'm gonna pick them because I know that once we create something, that energy, that momentum is gonna keep pushing,
Yeah.
Right.
versus we just
Facts.
create something and then now we have something dope, but now we're just sitting on it. So that same thing that when I did the Black Sands album, when I was breaking it down, I wanted to super talented people and people that I thought were serious in doing
Right.
music.
Yeah.
So
So
Yeah.
my
yeah.
follow-up question then, would that change though? Let's say now if you had like 1 million followers, right? You're way bigger than what you are right now. Would that mindset change now? Would you want to be like work with someone like maybe they have 1,000 followers, but they are talented as hell? Would you want to like work with that person now? Because I think that they have everything, they have the talent, but now you want to put out like a big project, right? But now they don't have that influence or that relevancy that you're looking for too. Because everything is business, right? You want to be able to like connect with people Because when you share that post or they share that post, you can get more traffic to that song. So would that change if it was bigger then?
Mm-mm. No, I wouldn't change. I if if there was somebody who was extremely talented and I fuck with who they are as a person and their movement, and to Ramon's point, I could tell they're really serious about their craft. You know, they
Right,
posted the last 763 days in a row, you know,
right,
right? Maybe they just haven't gotten their big break and they're still sitting at like 2,000 followers. Absolutely, I'll work with that person. Like, just because I have 1 million followers doesn't make me necessarily better than any other person. That just means that
right,
I was just fortunate enough to probably align with certain opportunities that put me
right,
in a position, right? You know, because what we know more than anything is it takes talent, it takes preparation, but it takes a little bit of luck, right? You know, and so
right,
like all it takes is really just that one opportunity, that one person to reach down and lift you up, you know, to that level, right? You know, and I absolutely believe in lifting other people up and speaking life,
right,
and whatnot into people, right? And so that's what stands out to me more than anything, and just the ability of like what I can do with my platform, right? You know, like
right,
yeah, because I'm a successful artist and now I have 1 million
right,
followers, I could go and probably collaborate with anybody, right? Any
right,
other artist that's in the industry, cool, you
right,
know, right? But if this person is super talented, like, you know, maybe even more talented than a lot of people who are in the industry, right? You know,
right,
maybe they just haven't had the opportunity, and maybe after having a conversation with them, like just really like getting a feel for what it is that they want to accomplish and you know, whatnot, and after assessing all of that, feeling like we could make magic together. Absolutely, absolutely.
right,
Like I said, that's the whole idea of having influence, of
right,
having a platform. Is it's not just what you're doing for yourself, it's what you're doing for others, right? You know, and so that person, maybe they were just looking for their break, and if I have the opportunity to be that person's break, you know,
right,
it's just like, yeah, let's collaborate, let's do a song, and then all of a sudden that song gets catapults them
right.
into whatever their life day is, like whether it's like maybe they don't want a record deal, but maybe they just want a publishing deal, you know, like or, whatever the case may be, maybe they, you know, cool, you know, but yeah, absolutely.
Right, but that's in theory though, right? Because in practicality, right? No, I mean, no other artists are really doing that, right? They're always like linking and networking with people on their level. So I don't know. It's hard because I
I,
go ahead,
and
bro.
I want to because I like where you're going, and I wanted to rephrase the question because
Right,
it's I think it's easier to speak on it from if we were in the position, because I think me and Z
right,
was the same. We
right,
would throw oops because we throw oops
right.
now.
Correct.
We would throw
Right,
oops and
right,
we would care about the craft of it and stuff like that. But if we
right.
switched it, right? Okay, now let's say we run the label. Let's say we're all three the label owners, right? We're the
Okay,
label owners,
include me.
and
Right,
we signed the singer, right?
right,
And she's popping. She got 1 million followers, right?
right,
Right. And then there's like a okay, like I would say like okay, pretty good artist, right?
right,
That they could collab with, but that is pretty much on the same level as them, right? We
right,
know it'd be really good for the brand. You know what I mean? Their label wants to work with ours. It would just be a really good look, right? That you
right,
know, we can split the budgets of that video. It's gonna be a good look
right,
versus somebody who's like super talented,
right,
more talent, way more talented than the other one, but they have two
right.
thousand followers. On the
Shit.
business side, who do we want? Who do we want our singer to work with?
I'm on a bigger to be honest from a business I'm picking the singer that have a bigger audience that's more known than the one that has 2,000 followers. I'm sorry, but like for me it just make more sense because at the end of the day it's just gonna help us to get to that next level. Here there's a possibility that that other singer who's talented might be able to get us there, but it never been done. We haven't seen that from her. So
Mhm.
you know all those things, yeah, everything happened, but we gotta like weigh the pros and cons, right? So knowing that the other singers, she already had like track record. She already shown us that she had done, you know, work with other artists and did something at this magnitude. So from a business standpoint, I'm picking the one that has the bigger following, that's done something that I've seen. If I'm being honest.
Yeah, like I mean, I think that's always going to be like the easy decision business wise is always going to be like what makes sense, right? You know,
Right,
but I also like just I understand that I don't necessarily function in the space of like not every decision is a business decision, right? You know, like I think
Jeez.
you have I think you have projects and whatnot
Right,
that you work on that it's just like, yeah, of course. I think that situation that you just posed was like a label. Like I don't
right,
necessarily have any desire to be a label owner,
right,
outside of like owning my own masters and whatnot. So like in a sense, you kind of have to be your own label to a degree, right? But the ability, because I know how hard it is to break the code sometimes, like to
right,
break out of that mold, and to just be able to like me collaborating with this person is not a bad business decision because like I decided to do a song with this person. Like
right,
that, how is that a bad business decision? That's like I'm not saying I would sign that person. I'm not signing
right,
the person with the 2,000 followers. But me collaborating with them, like, and just making really good music together, that's not a bad business decision, right?
right, right,
It may not get the recognition that like it would if I like collaborated with one of my peers who has an equal, if not greater, following than me and all that stuff and whatnot. But like like all I'm saying is like the opportunity, if we could make a really good song, and like because we talk about this all the time, like because people ask me all the time, like, would I just sell my songs? Like, would like as opposed to you be the one on it, like, would you just sell it? And yeah, absolutely, I would. Right? Like, because I know, like, in a lot of like ways, I think about like my song, like I was just listening to it earlier, like Into You, right? If Drake dropped that song, I know that song would be a hit. Like, I know
right,
it ultimately would be up right now, right? But
facts,
like because it's somebody who, like myself, is doesn't really have that a super established crazy fan base. It's
facts,
just one of those songs that kind of sits in limbo, right? Right? So um yeah, of course, like its popularity is always going to be a certain piece that is associated with it, especially in the entertainment industry. I get
right,
that. But not every decision has to be a business decision.
right,
And that's how I just genuinely feel about it, because like I feel like so many people, I think you have to find a good balance, because like I am a businessman, but I'm also a creative. I'm a human being. There's a lot of
right,
layers that make me who I am, right? And um I get that in the industry you have to be heavily business focused because you don't want to get fucked over, because
right,
honestly it's the music business for a reason, or the entertainment business for a reason, because it's 90% business, 10% talent. Totally get that.
right,
But
right,
there's been plenty of artists who you know um who have been really talented, and uh maybe they got their break and it just didn't work out for them, or vice versa, like
right,
whatever the case may be. If I at the end of the day, my goal is to create really good fucking quality music,
right,
and whether that's with a person who has 2,000 followers or 2 million, I'm gonna do it.
right,
Yeah.
To me, if the fall off between them is not astronomical, right?
right,
If I'm looking at it from the business decision, like you said, the business decision is to go with a big artist name. And I want to sit on that point for a minute, because if I'm looking at it from the business perspective of this thing being a business, right? I'm going to put a budget behind whatever we're about to do,
Hmm.
right,
right? So sometimes you want things to make sense businessly, like just
right,
business wise. Like it's just a better decision sometimes to just go with that artist that, you know what I mean, that has a bit of a name. Maybe we find another record for that person down the road, or work on,
right,
like maybe that's something we talk about. But if I'm looking at it, if we separated and was like, this is one that we're about to put a big budget for, I'm probably gonna go with the one that's already established, just being that
right,
they've built things and probably have been
right,
through things that,
right,
even looking forward, right? Like if we want to do a, like a tour, right? Can we
right,
co-headline the tour? And then
right,
now my artist and that artist is, you know what I'm saying? Like does it make sense, right? So I think if we were getting ready to put a big budget into it, and we had that decision on the table just to go with, I would go with, I'm with DG on the side of like going with a little bit less talented, like a, okay artist, but that, you know what I mean, that has that
right,
following from the business perspective, and then if we ever was just working on the album. Maybe we do have that smaller artist come in and
Right.
let's see what works. But if I'm picking a single and rolling out with something, I am going on the business side on that one.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, yeah, I definitely I hear what you're saying. Like I think
Right.
about it like Kendrick, for instance. He had his
Mm-hmm.
song with SZA, right? Like obviously Luther, which was a banger. But equally, Peekaboo is just as much of a banger, and no one knew I don't even know how to pronounce his name, as Shaik, AZ, however you pronounce his name. No one knew who he was before he got on Peekaboo. But his verse actually might be the most memorable on the song. You know, so like in that same
But
breath,
but he got 2,000 followers though.
well, now he doesn't like, but even before that, like I
Right.
don't know who I truly don't know who he was before that song.
Right.
So I don't even really know what the sample size was. I don't know how much of a following he had
Right.
pre Peekaboo, but I can
Right.
guarantee you that Peekaboo took his career to a whole different level, right? So
But at the
um
same time, if you had to pick,
Right.
like you know what I mean, if you had to pick, like let's do
but he could.
Luther with Scissor, or we're gonna do Peekaboo.
Right.
But all I'm saying is like Kendrick could have easily picked another like artist outside of who he picked to be on Peekaboo. And yeah, maybe it might have been bigger. He could have picked a bigger name artist, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like that's not what it's always about. That's not what every record is about though. Like, right?
Yeah,
Like
I agree with that. Not every
not
record,
every
but
single
some
record
records
is
Right.
are.
about.
Some
Yeah,
records
Some
are though,
records,
yeah.
of
because you could
course.
Right.
even see like they put a bigger budget into
Right.
Luther. You seen the Luther
Right.
video, crazy. You know what I mean? Like there was a bigger budget into that one for sure. And
Right.
then of course it's Super Bowl is, you know what I mean? It's
Right.
uh headline tour, just like we talked about. It made
Mhm,
sense to go a bigger budget there.
Right.
mhm.
You know, it's both.
Oh,
I think if
right.
you ran a label, you would want a little bit of both. But
Right.
and to be honest, and to speak to that too, we don't think that Sis is a
Right.
okay artist. I think
Right.
she's phenomenal, bro. I think
Right.
she's incredible, to be honest. But
I mean,
yeah, but just
okay.
for that,
Z, another scenario, right? You've been investing for a while, right? Would you rather, let's say, if someone you want to like partner with, like you want to like start your own thing, create like investment fund or whatever? Would you pick someone who's freaking smart, genius, whatever in Excel and knowledgeable about finance, but the only they only got like $2,000 in their Burkish account. They only got But they are
Um,
smart. That's one of the smartest person you ever talk to. Like anything financially related, they like know how to talk about it, explain that to you. But so far they only got 2K. Or so who's decent, okay. They might not know everything like that other person, but that person like maybe got 4, 5 mil, like you. So who would you rather work with in the scenario then? I'm just curious.
well, like, what do you mean when you say in the capacity of work with? What do you mean?
All right, like
going
you
into
need
an
someone, you need
investment.
like a partner. You need a partner to invest to invest in. You need like an investment partner. You got this project you want, you're working on, but you're like, all right, I need somebody to partner with me. Either maybe you might want to start your own
Well,
firm.
you know the answer to that question, but the reason why like the reason why these two scenarios are not relevant is because one is business related. Like I said, the creative side of it is different. Like I get that music business, it is a business. Don't get me
Right,
wrong, but like what we're talking about investing is purely about business. There's no creativity,
I mean,
no
there's
none of that
creativity in
bullshit.
there to
It's
that.
strictly business, right?
There's some creativity in
Whereas
that, but
with music, when anything that involves art, it's a lot different. Like it's a lot more subjective, right? So that's
but
the huge difference.
at that level though, you're not making music just for fun now. You're making music for like business too, though. You're not just
That's
making a
fair.
project.
But
You're not
yeah, I
making.
get that. But like, why couldn't I make music for fun anymore? Like at that point, I've already probably accomplished everything that I ever wanted to, right? Like if we're talking about, I got
But in the situation though, because we got to back up, because the situation is if we have an art, like we have an
Right,
artist,
right,
not us, because I think we already kind of established we would always,
right,
you know what I mean, go with probably the talent. But if we have an artist and that is the business,
right.
I think that's a better situation because then it is business too, right? Like
yeah.
We could have her collab with the 2001 or the one that makes sense
Right,
businessly,
Yeah,
with us being the business guy too. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
that's why I think that's a better
right,
situation.
yeah,
right,
We want her to have fun too,
right.
but she's part of the business now.
Correct.
yeah.
Even like Ramon, I can even take it from like an individual, right? From an individual standpoint too. Because at the end of the day, once you reach a certain level, your reputation, all that things matter too. Because you don't just want to come up with a song, work with anybody, and then that song flop, right? That's gonna look bad on you as an artist too. So either scenario is like it plays a role. It's kind of like people look up to you. Oh, he came out with a turbo song with this person, like. So yeah, you're thinking, yeah, it's not about just business, but also as an artist, once you're at that level too, you're thinking about what makes sense too for your repetition, all that too. So it's not just a business or project or just art. It has a lot to do with that too. When you're thinking about all that.
Yeah. Yeah, and it is like it's a tough conversation because just coming from the local scene, me and Z
Right.
always know like there's
Right.
some of the most talented people that
I
I've ever
agree.
heard in the small markets that just never really get seen, right? So I always have like a little bit of bias of them if I'm working with them directly, right? Or if I
Right.
wanted to just throw a oop, if I'm in a position where I think this is what changes, right? If I'm in a position where I have you know just an unlimited, just a whatever budget, right? To like compose, the music for an upcoming movie,
Right.
right? At this point, making the best music for that movie makes more sense to me than just getting names.
Right.
It
Mm.
would be cool to have, a feature from, the biggest rappers in the game at this point. But if we had the right people in there to make the best music, that makes sense for that thing, right?
Right. Right. That's true.
Even businessly, right? I'm gonna make the best music. That's what
Right.
I'm trying to do. But if it's in a
Right.
situation where we do need eyes on this product,
Right.
then I am gonna probably make the business decision of like, okay,
Right.
this makes sense right now to put the energy, the time, and the money behind. You know?
Correct. No, that's fact. So yeah, that just my point was just to like show that no matter how good or talented you are, especially the world we're living in today, too, you need to be relevant, to get people to like want to like partner with you and do business with you as well. Especially
Mhm.
when it comes to like entertainment, like public speaking, all those things. Because yeah, you might be good, you might be talented, but if no one knows who you are, that makes it
Mhm.
harder for like people to work with you. So it's just like I think to have both things together going for you make the most sense, especially with like
Yeah,
social media age nowadays.
yeah. The only thing that I'm also saying is, is everyone was at that stage of like not having it, not knowing, like not having maybe the relevance that they wanted, right? Like
Correct.
everyone needed an opportunity to
I
make it
agree.
happen, right? You know, Kanye had Jay-Z, right? Uh Big Sean had Kanye, right? Like all these like situations, like these things never would have happened if they just never gave them the shot. Now, granted, like in a lot of these scenarios, people take control of those moments. Like I think of Big Sean and
Yeah,
how he really went out of his way to get Kanye's attention to make sure
Right.
that like he got his opportunity, right? And even then, Kanye still could have been like, "Nah, I'm good," but like he gave him a shot, right? And so all I'm saying is, yeah, like especially from a business perspective, if all we think about is business all the time, then like yeah, like we'll always be in scenarios where it's just like nah, like like we're not gonna do that, right? Because like
Yes.
sometimes it takes more than business, and it's just it. We talk about all it takes empathy sometimes. It's just like I understand what it's like to be a quote unquote nobody where like no one knows your music. You know
Right.
how talented you are. All you do is leave, like you live, sleep, and breathe this all day and all night. I wake up thinking about it every day. I go to sleep at night thinking about it every night. And you just waiting for this opportunity to manifest. I know what that feels like. I go through it every day. And I know that like if I was just given the opportunity, I know that I could rise to the occasion, right?
Right.
And to be able to like put someone else in like a position, I will absolutely do that because I know what it's like. I know what that
Right.
struggle looks like, and I just know what it takes. I just know what it's like to just like look. All I need is one shot. Like just give
Right.
me my
Give me
shot,
alley hoop and
and
I'll
I'll
dunk
prove
it.
it. and I'll
right,
prove it, right? You know, like that's what everyone's looking for. Anyone who ever had a story or a dream was looking for the come up had that, right? You know, so
right,
like knowing what that is to go through that
right,
and to be able to contribute to someone else's success story, I'd absolutely like happily do that.
right.
You
Yeah.
hit on one piece that I wanted to add that's super important, bro, is the way you talked about Big Sean and Kanye,
Yeah.
right? The way they got those opportunities, they
Yeah.
almost strong armed their way into it.
Yeah.
Right,
That changes
Absolutely.
things, right? Like if somebody showed me that was that dedicated, sneaking the
right,
studio, like sneaking the studio session, or Kanye
right,
working with all these different people, going up the ladder, from Talib Kweli to Mos Def, and then walking into the album like, nah, I want Jay. You know what I'm saying? Nah, I want Jamie Foxx. I came to the party not to party,
right,
man. I want to get you on this song. Like
right.
there's a piece of that,
Correct.
like
Right. That's
that
true.
strong arm,
100%.
that to like that energy that you sometimes have to put in
Yeah.
to
Right.
be
To get
like,
that.
I
Right.
want this opportunity. And if
Yeah.
somebody,
Right.
you have to respect somebody that moves. I think that it's hard not to when somebody's in your face and they like, man, and then the talent backs it up.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
Right.
hard
Exactly.
not it's hard not to. But
Yeah.
I wanted to just touch on this point because there's a lot of people that do maybe create whatever they create, and they're so quiet and secretive about it that they don't post about it, they don't talk about it, they don't
Right.
do anything about it at all,
Hmm.
and just hope that something is going to happen. And the truth is, most times it's
Yeah.
not. You know what I
Yeah.
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
Most times it's not, man. Somebody's not just going to randomly walk by your walkway and what is that playing over there? That's you?
Right.
You know what I mean? That's not the truth of what's going to happen. So I just wanted to
Right.
take a minute to say, man, if you are that person, man, you know, life is short, man, and
Yeah.
put yourself out there, man, and just try.
Right.
If it's
Yeah.
something that you actually want. If
Yeah.
not, if you
Right.
if you're good with just, making your music
Right.
for you
Right.
and just listening to you by
Yeah.
yourself and you don't want, that's cool. But if you
Yeah.
really want a shot at something, you have to take your shot sometimes, man.
Yeah.
I like, just personally, I've always been more of a reserved type of person, but just realized that certain things couldn't happen, certain opportunities doesn't happen
Right.
if I don't put myself out there. It just
Yeah.
doesn't.
I agree.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So I wanted to throw that because that was a great point that Z said. Those people specifically
Right.
like strong arm their way into that
Right.
position, and like,
Correct.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm super talented, but I'm gonna like make it known that I
Yeah.
need
Right.
this opportunity,
Yeah.
So,
Right.
Because to
Right.
your point, like I mean, I think that kind of like that kind of leans into the point you brought up earlier of it can't just be talent alone, right? Like
Right.
hmm
it has
yeah.
like a person has to have drive, a person has to
Right.
have hunger, right? You
Right.
know, there's
hmm
plenty of people who are talented who are just letting it go to waste because they may be lazy, because they just don't want it enough, whatever the case may be, right? But like to the point of what we're talking about, right? When the talent is actually back, or like when the talent actually backs the desire, like you're willing to put yourself out there, you're willing to take those risks, you're willing to take those leaps and
Right.
whatnot. That's just a different type of bag. That's a different type of person, right? Like you just understand that like that's more of a rarity, right? Like not only do you have the talent, but you have the grit that comes along with it, right?
Sure.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, like if that person only has 2,000 followers, but they literally are showing me, like I said, they posted every day the last 763 days. They
hmm
DM'd me every day for the last 500 days. They sent me voice notes, like, and then obviously, like me as this person who's sitting on this pedestal, and like, I got a million followers, and I just didn't realize it because like obviously it was sitting in my requests in my DMs, right? And then finally I go and I check it and I was like, damn, this person hit me every day for 500 days in a row. Like, of course I'm gonna at least like listen to them. I'm gonna be like, all right, like let me go see what this person is, because if they literally took the time to DM me like, hey Zenas,
Right.
please give me a shot, like every
Right.
day for the last 500 days, I'm gonna be like, all right, like let me at least see if this shit is trash or not,
All right.
right?
All right, Z, another one for you again. So
Kiddo.
the point you just made, right? Our girl you don't like, she DM me 500 days. She- she's strong on her way. She's
No, the
persistent.
answer is no. The answer is no, DG. No.
Oh man, she got pure
I
grit.
don't like her for a reason. So
Why
no.
though? I mean, she's done the other things.
Nah, but that's because the quality's not matching up after this.
Exactly. The quality ain't there, man. The quality ain't there.
but but
We
she
talked. This
but
all
she
begins with quality, and the
persistent
quality
though.
ain't there.
But what happen? You don't even know the quality yet. Hey, just like maybe she's not physically your type though, but like you know that she can improve. Let's say she's overweight, right? You know that she can maybe get in the gym and be better, and you know, like would you still like? But she been consistent on messaging you every day. Hey Z, give me a chance. Hey Z, every day the same old message, like every day. Do you
I
probably
mean,
like you know what?
you can't ask the question without answering it too.
You know, I even before I said no, either
Nah,
scenario,
I'm
I think
playing.
even going
I'm
back to
playing.
the first one, I think I'll probably pick. I'll still, if I'm in a situation, if I have a bigger artist, I think I'll still pick the bigger artist over the
Mhm.
person who have 2,000 followers.
Yeah.
Because for me, it's
Yeah.
just I don't know.
Yeah.
Like
No,
you
Yeah.
made
and to your point, like I don't want to make it seem like I would never pick the
right,
person who's a
right,
bigger
right,
artist, right? It is situational, right? You know, like it's
right,
always
right.
going to be situational. But um but in regards to this situation, the one that you're presenting, the answer is no because
What?
like I said, it all starts with quality and the quality ain't there. So no, no,
She can
hell
cook.
no.
She can cook. She can
But
code. She
I mean,
can
to your point,
clean.
like
She,
I mean,
like what quality are you looking
Shout
for?
out to Kels for tapping. If she's just out of shape, but like I still think she's attractive, that's a different story, right? You know, like she. But we also it also depends on how out of shape. How out of shape?
Severely,
How out of shape depends too. Like if she's like
Oh,
'Severely.
400, if she's like
Kels, you a
400
fool.
pounds out of shape, then there's a hell nah. But if she's like a solid like 196, maybe
Nah.
just needs a shed, like like then I'm like, all right, maybe she's
Y'all
just
some
a little
fools.
thick, like right.
Nah.
So it depends. It depends on how out of shape,
All right,
right?
300 pounds, 320.
How tall is she?
I hate y'all, boy, man. Come on, man.
Five, five,
Let's get
five,
let's.
five. No, let's put it this scenario. 5'5", 320.
Yes, y'all are crazy, man. I'm,
And no, no, we're not doing this. We are not doing this. Hell nah. Hell
Oh
nah.
man.
She
Nah, but
outweighs
no,
if she outweighs me by 60 pounds. No,
yeah.
70 pounds.
But no,
means good though.
going back to what you said
Like,
though, Z, you made a really good point though. I just want to say that because like you talk about you mentioned empathy, right? Having empathy, I think that goes a long way. You know, kind of like you're talking about. Because I think for you right now, you understand what it's like being in that situation as a good artist. Let's say if someone who's big give you that opportunity right now, you know you're gonna kill it. So I
Yeah,
feel like with that, I kind of like see where you're coming from. It makes sense because now you're like, all right, I can relate to this person. So I think you're more likely to give that person a chance because you know why? If I had the opportunity
yeah,
right now, shit could turn out to be great for
yeah,
me. So why not? I'm already successful. Why not try this person who's had that burning desire, who's hitting me up all the time, and I know they're actually great. Let me see if they can actually turn this around and
yeah,
make turn it something big. So I really like that.
yeah,
But that's what I said. But now the scenario have changed because that person is actually like coming to you, reaching out to you more. We're just talking about you in that position, and you saw this person, who you think they might be good. They're talented. They just have 2,000 followers. You're like, oh, maybe I can work with an or a bigger artist. So, but like I
yeah,
think
yeah, yeah,
if you flip the role, they're reaching out to you more. I can see why you pick them
yeah,
than a
yeah,
big artist.
they're
yeah,
hungrier. Yeah,
yeah,
that
Right.
adds to it, and that like he said to that original point, that is an important piece of like, yeah, Kels is a fool, right? But that is a point, a important piece to be like, is somebody like already working towards this, right?
Right.
Like just as I've just been through life, bro. I want to work with somebody who's already working for it. Like I want somebody who's already
Mhm.
whether people is not seeing it. If you trying, I salute
Right.
you. If
Right.
you're not trying though, it's hard for me to want to still work. I've worked with people that's like super talented, but just kind of
Right.
don't take it as serious as I want
Right.
to. And if I'm involved with the project, I'm gonna take it serious. So
Yeah,
it's hard
Right.
for me to do that. You know what I mean?
Right.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. It's just I think how seriously you take yourself,
Right.
and take your passions, your art, whatever it is, will show, right? And people will recognize it, and maybe eventually like you'll get your shot, your opportunity if you stay diligent, right? But
Right.
um
She's hungry.
No, I
She
agree
wants it,
though.
bro.
That's childish.
I agree though. Yeah, she's hungrier for
she's
real.
she's
She
she's
wants it
she's
bad,
she's the
Z.
she's the epitome of hungry. She's
Oh
she's
my
the
god,
epitome
I
of.
hate y'all, man.
She's hungrier. You see, Z's not willing to give her a chance. He's not willing to give her a chance. You see,
Nah, nah, uh-uh, uh-uh.
Shout out to the big women, man. Yeah.
Nah, we yeah,
Big-
man. I ain't never gonna shame. Like we love the big
Right,
women. Like
right,
nah, we ain't never gonna nah.
right.
But
you
you
can't
made it
take me
sound
though.
you made it sound like it was like she's ugly and all that stuff, and she just been DMing me for the last 500 days. I don't care. Nah, the answer is still no.
No, okay, there's a no. All right, but let's see. All right, never mind. I'm doing all the hypothetical scenario. I'm
No,
good.
you about to,
No, I know we're getting closer to would you rather. Do you guys have like any specific one in mind beside my hypothetical situation? Is you already have the answer to that, so we don't have to go through that one.
I'm a freestyle one. All right, since the episode was about financial success versus cultural relevance, right?
Mhm.
All right. I want to make it completely okay. Would you want to have successful? This is on one side. Would you rather
Right.
have financial success? Let's say like 10 mil, right? But you can only really help, let's say 5 people.
Yes. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Go
That's
ahead.
it. That's all you can help. 10 million. That's you
Damn.
can only help 5 people. Nobody else. Nobody else. You can't help them at all. Or have cultural relevance, and you help. Let's say to make it fair, you can help 10 million people, but you only
Right.
have a 100,000.
Forever?
You just stay at 100,000. You stay at
No.
you're not gonna make you're
A
not gonna
Can
hundred.
make less than nine.
Are
You're
we
not
talking? Are we
you
talking about 100K a year?
Yeah, that's fair,
yeah. Let's do that.
huh? Okay.
100K a year and helping 10 million people, or
And then
having 10
10
million
million
and only helping
a year.
five?
10 million a year.
Hold on.
Damn.
Can the 10 million people I help me back though? Can they help me or no?
No, not
That
financially. They can put you in
now
different positions.
no, I'm picking option one, bro. Give me the 10 million. I'm helping 5 people. Because the life I want to live, 100K, it's not gonna help me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm just gonna
It's
be
fair.
honest.
It's fair.
I'm just gonna keep it real. Like the
It's fair.
PJ we try to get Z, it's not 100K is not gonna cut it for us, bro. I'm just letting you know.
Definitely not.
So I'm picking option one, bro. I'm helping 5 people. 10 million a year. Yeah, that's my answer. What are you guys doing?
So is it like,
No,
all right, so
no.
wait, is it is
Don't do
it is
that.
it five is it 5 people only, or 5 people a year?
That's
5 people
5 people.
only, Z.
That's it.
That's it.
That's
Z,
it. You can
Z,
only help. You
Z trying
only
to change the
pick
terms and
pick very
conditions.
wisely, brother. Pick very wisely because this is it. This is it.
Z
It's like
trying to change
only
the terms
five
and
people for the rest
conditions,
of
It's
bro.
only
life.
5, and you
You're
probably like
trying,
if you
bro.
don't have like a significant other yet, you probably only want to pick 4. So then when you find out one, you can make her the 5th because you know what I mean. Because
Hey,
once you pick your 5, it's
hey,
that's it. That's
hey,
it.
I'm picking option one. 10 mil a year, 5 people. I'm good. You need a PJ, bro. You
I'm
can't
gonna
get that
jump.
100K.
I'm gonna jump in, man. I just to be
I
on the other
think
side, man. I'm going coach.
I'm taking the latter. I'm taking
Cultural
option two.
relevance.
Yeah, I'm taking the 100K and helping 10 million people.
What's the
Yeah.
point of helping
Come
10
on, now.
million people? They can't really help you, bro. What's the
No,
point?
look. So this is the undertone, right? I'm with Z. They just can't help you financially. That doesn't mean that you can't be in experiences with them. They just can't give you no money.
What I need them
Like you,
for?
you might have helped somebody in that 10 million that does have the PJ.
Yeah,
You could be
nah,
on
yeah,
his, but you ain't gonna. You never gonna buy your own. You
nah.
know what I'm saying? You never
There's a
gonna buy your
possibility
own.
that they might not remember me. So the fact now, no.
Nah,
They remember you. You helped them.
we'd be on your PJ. What do you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because I'm
No,
gonna
no,
have to.
no.
I'm gonna have to
But
10 mil.
that's my real piece is that though. Like I picked the 100K because I think out of the 10 million people that you helped, just naturally, law of just
Large number, yeah.
yeah, large numbers. Out of those 10 million, like somebody's gonna do amazing things and want to look out. It can't be financially, so you can't wire it to my account, but you can definitely put me in positions that have nothing to do with money. That's like you know what I mean,
Nah, I
like.
don't want it. What position you gonna put?
Man, I'm gonna be on the homies PJ. I'm not gonna have my own,
Bro,
but
Yeah,
put me in what
but
position though?
but
If you
but
what? If you
but
what?
100K.
Nah,
Let's say I got 100K a year. I could be in Rwanda living lavishly off of that,
good.
like living very very comfortably off that 100 grand a
Hey,
year and
but I can give
chilling,
my
bro.
10 mil to my 5 people and they can help whoever because y'all never made a stipulation. Y'all didn't say my 5 people can help someone
come on,
else.
man. Y'all
So
always trying to make
No, no,
you
that's
trying to
you.
get your fives to
Now
give it
you
to other
trying to
people.
now
Nah,
you trying to change.
you know
You
we're not
can't.
doing that.
but
Nah,
y'all
you can't.
y'all
No,
y'all never said that in the terms and
The
condition.
money
Never
ends. The
stated.
money ends there.
the money
They can
ends
help
once.
people. They
Yeah,
can they
that's
can
it.
help people, but not with the money you gave them.
Even
That's
with
it.
that option, I'm still taking the 10 mil. Sorry, y'all not even gonna make this. So even with that option, I'm still taking the 10 mil. See, yeah, we
I
out
can see
here.
both
I
sides.
like
I can see.
if it was a little bit more than five, like if it was like 10, maybe even
Three,
I could say that.
three, three. I take the 10 mil.
Uh, all right,
Two, man, you got me thinking.
before we get out, I'm gonna hit it one more time because Tiny popped
Yeah,
in.
cause
Tani,
yeah,
let me my bad. I be
Tanisha.
saying that
Yeah,
I know it's Tanisha, but I
yeah,
be saying Tani when I
yeah.
it's
Shit,
Tani. But
Tani.
but the situation was this: would you rather have $10 million a year, but you can only help 5 people, and they can't help other people with the money either? That's the
And then we're talking about
stipulation.
5 people for life. Like you
like
can't help any more than 5 people
You
in
give me
life.
cannot for
three,
the rest of your
bro.
life. You can only help 5 people.
Give me three.
You
I'll
can
be good. I'm
only
still
help
taking the
five
10 mil.
people
Shit,
versus you have 100,000 a year, but you help 10 million people over the course of life. You help 10 million people. You only have 100,000 a year. Those people can help you, but they can't ever give you extra money. You know
Yeah.
what I'm
bro.
saying? You just
You
have
know how many people we
100,000 a
have
year
helped,
flat.
bro? We helped a lot of people, bro. They haven't given us
Yeah.
shit. So like I'm taking my I'm taking my 10 mil, bro. Now think about it. Do the math. If you think about people you help in school, college, and all that stuff, resource, it's more than 100 people, bro. Like none of them have given me anything. None of them sent me a check. So what's the point of like?
But I mean, some of them might have been opportunities. Like you said, your mentor, you might have helped him fitness wise. He helped you with this. He helped you with knowledge. He helped you in position. I think honestly, if you help the 10 million people, bro, I think you'd live such a rich life that you won't think about not having.
Yeah, I mean, still that sounds great, Ramon. That you almost got
I'm not
me.
even trying to just take like the moral road for this. Like I'd really
You
pick that.
almost got me. But I'm taking the
Mhm.
10 mil still and helping 5 people. Because you're talking about helping 5 people financially, right? That's it. I mean, just 5 people you can help, right? Financially, but
Yeah.
I can still help people in other ways without financial gain. So I can like mentor other people and help in other capacity, but just from a financial standpoint, only 5 people.
And give no
That's
money.
yeah.
Yeah, but like I think that's a tough that's a piece that would be toughest because like like let's say your brother comes to you and he's like, look, man, like I'm about to get like evicted from my crib or not even like my house is about to go into foreclosure. Like
Teach them how to invest. Give them a
I
connection.
get
Teach
that
them
you're
how about
trying to.
get Robinhood, bro. Get Robinhood account.
He's bro. My
He not he
I
not
got 30.
he
I
not
got
gonna get
30 days. I got 30 days to pay 72 grand.
I
What
got
the fuck is Robin?
30 days and $30, bro. I'm not gonna make it in time.
ask
What is Robin Hood gonna do for me now?
ask ChatGPT. Sorry, I'm gonna give you the information right now. Financially, I can help you.
That's
But
crazy.
next week though, we go to Miami. You can come on the PJ. We turn it up.
And to be honest, I honestly even think that's cheating a little bit. Get like being able to give the knowledge because that still is helping people. I want to say you just can't help it all, but
I mean, no, you can't. I mean, you can't change the stipulation because at the end of the day, that's like,
I'll give you that. I'll give you knowledge, but then you can't help. You can't give knowledge to 10 million people either, though. Like like that's
right. So
nah.
I
That's
don't
like
know
a cheat
because
code. That's like a cheat code.
Yeah,
I don't know,
it
because
really
I
is.
think people, we help so many people in our life, bro. I think we haven't gotten paid for all the help we have given. So,
Man, I
and not,
have though. It's not always money, bro. Like I think I have been paid back
I
in
mean, to a certain level, I
unbelievable
think I've been
ways.
paid back correct. But I'm just
Yeah, in
saying, like,
unbelievable ways, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
right.
It's and
I agree to
it's not
that.
always
Right,
about money, you know, right?
right,
That was the whole reason, like, you know, like my whole argument earlier about what we were talking about is like it's not always about business, it's not always about money. Sometimes it's just about life, sometimes it's just about opportunity, sometimes it's just about connections, sometimes it's just about empathy, right? You know, like those things are so much more rich to me.
right. But it's
At times, I'm not gonna say all the time. Those things can be more
right,
rich to
right.
me, you know, right?
But I mean, it's
Um,
easier to say when the 10 mil is not right next to you, right? It's easier to say that. But if you see that 10 mil, you might probably might want to like join my team right now. It's easier like
Uh,
I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna pick the person that it's easy to say that, right? But it's kind of like hard when it's right in front of you. But
just
still
like
for
agree.
that,
just like Tania and Z said, I'd be right there overseas, living big, bro.
Yeah,
Living
right?
a
amazing,
hundred
bro.
k a year, bro. In Rwanda, I'd be chilling, bro. I'd be
But
big
that's
chilling.
I mean,
Helping
I
10
agree. That's
million people, bro. Like you, like that. You changed the world.
Like
yeah.
you got to think about it. Like those 10 million people that you like. I mean, you like people would essentially like almost like I don't want to say worship because like that's like not a word that I'm like trying like, but people would like do almost like anything for you, you know, right? Like if you were out here
Right,
helping people like that, they would do like damn near anything for you, you know, right?
right,
And really helped
So
them too. Like really
right.
helped them. You know what I mean? Like
But you
you
talking
know,
about you have
that means you always
right,
got a place to stay. You know, you pull up. If I go to
but
like Brazil or something like that, I got a homie out there. Like he gonna let me
for
stay
sure.
at his
right,
crib. You know, right? So like
right.
I got a place everywhere I go. You know, like I
But I
got
can technically do that with my 10 mil though, because I don't need to like I can only give people I can only help people 5 people financially. I can still do that with the 10 mil, just not financially. So why I can do that too. I can give people the resource, the knowledge, and all of that. I can still help them, but not just financially. So why wouldn't I pick that then? Because it's just easy. I'm still helping people, but I'm not just helping them financially. Like,
I think that you kind of cheating with that
no,
one because you still help
that's
because the original was like you can't help, you can only help
financially
five
right.
people. It wasn't financially,
Financially,
it was just you can only help five people. That's what the original was.
I mean, so
It wasn't
imagine
like
if
just financially. You just can't help people.
so if you already picked your five, if someone's getting beat up, that's terrible then, right? Because that's not what we're talking about. So if you already picked your five, if someone's getting like beat, an older lady is getting like murdered, like you can't do
You
anything.
can only help them physically.
And also, you can't change the terms and conditions. You
You
can
can
like
only
still
help.
help goes a long way. So with that scenario, I'm thinking that it's easy because I can still help them, but not just financially. I can only help
Okay, but
5 people
anything
financially.
financial knowledge or none of that then. Just you cannot find anything financially at all.
But yeah, but knowledge doesn't have to be always financial though, right? You can help
Yeah,
other
you can
people
give them some
like
fitness. You can give them some fitness
yeah, fitness. I
knowledge
can
and
give them
stuff.
like just more. I don't know other things out there. It doesn't always have to be financial. So yeah, I'm still picking that. Give me my damn money.
Yeah. Not because
he
and
said to send me
they
cash
said the
now.
same thing too, man. Like if you helped 10 million people, like one of those
Right,
people have a player at spot in Miami, one of
right,
those people have a player. Like I just think that you would never, you wouldn't feel like you only have 100,000
right,
with that type of life. Like I think you there would be so many people that would just be like, man, come to my rest. Like it's kind of like that now sometimes. Like
right,
it's not at that level, but like there's places that we could probably all go that
right,
people is just willing to open their arms in their house and their restaurant and their food and you know it's just you know what I mean just being a solid person in
Yeah,
different places people almost is like
right,
please come you know what I mean you
because
help me do
right.
you almost you know what I mean like
it's
But
almost like that fame
I can
effect.
still
Because
do
like
that too
they always
though.
say like famous people get so much shit for free, right? You know, like you think about it from like if you were impacting 10 million people and people really just fuck with you on that type of wavelength, you would never probably have to pay for a meal anywhere you go, right? You
I mean that's
probably
not
like
realistic though, because I feel you create like a scenario that is like it's not realistic, right? Because if y'all gonna change my terms and conditions, because just because you help people doesn't mean they're always gonna pay for your meals everywhere you go. Like
no, I'm not
sometimes you
saying
help
that,
me.
but like you might know
it's
somebody
not
who's
every
like a chef or something. Like I mean, like you got to think. We talk about the 6 degrees of separation. If you got 10 million people that you helped and just genuinely fuck with you on like so many levels, you know how many people in the world gonna be like, man, I know, like yo, Zenas, yo, I'm even if I don't know him directly, that's a real motherfucker though. Like you know,
that's
like
Right.
whatever you need
I
Z, whenever you in
it's
town bro
facts.
whatever you need you got it bro You got
10
it.
Right.
million
It's gonna be
people is a
That's
that.
lot.
facts.
Now
Right.
I get that there's 8 billion people on the planet, but if
Right.
you talk about 10 million people that you've helped, and we talk about 6 degrees of separation, a lot of people probably know you around the world. Like
Right. But
facts.
but but you can still help. My thing is you can only help five people financially. But it doesn't mean you can't help other people. It's just not so I can still like I can argue that I can even help more people, but just not financially.
But how are you gonna help them then? Just giving them knowledge?
Knowledge, yeah. I mean, how you gonna help them 100K though? Giving them money? Like, cause
Nah.
100K is not
Ah,
enough.
but
Then
see
how you
that
gonna?
that's why I think you cheating because if you're saying you can help them the same way we can, it doesn't. You know what I'm saying? That's not that doesn't.
Yeah.
We're
But
saying
you're
you
stuck
can't help people. You can't help.
financially. We're talking about
That wasn't
financially.
the original one. You changed it to that.
No, no, it was though. Because at the end of the day, if you say you
nah,
can't help, then
nah, nah.
you
You
We
can
were
only
we were
help
writing
five
this at
people.
the end. It was
yeah,
only could
rewind
only
that
help 5 people.
You can only help five
That's what it
people.
was.
financially.
Because that's kind of the cheat code. Then if you could help with knowledge, then that's kind of like what we could do too. Because we can't help too
Okay,
much financially with
okay.
100K.
With that scenario, then, like, let's
Okay,
say
you can help
a
them with
friend is
knowledge,
getting
but just
hurt.
not financial knowledge. Like you can't
Nothing
help
Right.
them
Not.
financially. No
nothing
business. No
financial. Like no
nothing
Yeah.
financial
financial.
gains, but you
Yes.
can help them. You can help them like get in shape and those types of things.
Correct.
Like yeah, you can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Of course. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah.
I'm kind of with Tony though. To me, I kind of want to be like you can only help
you can
five
only
people
help
because
five people.
But that's not realistic. Why if you pick your five people and then your daughter or whatever your cousin is getting hurt, like past sick, can you call 911? That's not realistic though,
you should
right?
have took the 100K.
No, but that's what I'm saying. And that's that's not a realistic
No,
scenario,
I'll
right?
give you like life
Because you
threatening situations. You can do something about it.
Yeah,
Like life, if we're talking about life or death, you can do something. But
like
anything
that's the
financially related
because help
or
is so
anything
because
else, no.
so open the door. That's help though. You know that, right? Open the door for someone's help. So I don't know how you guys looking at help, right? Open the door for someone's help. Same thing, like so. It's just like that cannot work because help goes in so many shape and form. Open the door for somebody is definitely help, right?
can't
Stopping at
help
the
people,
red
man.
light and throw the pants, that's help, right? So many ways. So it has to be just financially. It makes sense because like you can't just live life without help, bro.
Nah, you cheat. Yeah, you kind of you cheating the game, brother. Because
Let's
Yeah,
you
go
still
back.
would
Let's
because
be
go.
helping at that point.
Right. That's
You could
why.
do life threatening and just like little basic things like
Like
hold the
giving
door. I'll
out.
give you that. I'll give you hold the door. But you can't be like hold the door and then walk them over here and tell them about your
So
business
okay,
plan
what
and
if
tell
my
them how to
neighbor?
work out. You can't help
What if
them.
my?
You can do
So
the
what if?
basic of basic things. You just can't really help them.
So if my neighbor left his car
You
on
got
like
10 million a year though. We paying you 10 million, so you cannot help people, bro. Like that's the
but
deal. Like
right, we still about help
that we're
people
paying you 10 million
financially.
for that.
But that means you can't live life there because life is health. That's what I'm saying. Because you just have money because you can't be because you're just gonna be like you're just gonna be just all by yourself then. Because at the end of the day, that's not
well,
life
yeah,
then.
That's
because you can
kind of the
only
That
point.
help
that.
five
That's the
people.
point.
But
That's
no,
the
but that's
point.
no
That's the
nah.
point of
But
cultural
no, yeah. Because I think
relevance
because
versus financial. It's
I think
extremes. It's extremes,
okay.
bro.
You can
It's
only help
extremes.
five people.
Then okay, that'll make I'll say then you make 10K a year then. Then
And
let's
let's
do
say
that. If you only doing 10, only 10K a year.
10K a year.
Then you make 10K a
nah,
year. If that was
nah,
doing straight, then you make
nah,
10K a year. Then that's fair. Because
nah.
you can't say, oh, if your neighbor is getting hurt, you can't do anything like that. Like what kind
Now,
of
you could
life is
do
that? You
that.
can
That's it. Life
We said
threatening.
well,
You can
that's
do it.
life threatening. That's life threatening. Yes, you
That
can do
boy
so.
said
We
10K a
said
year.
life
You a
threatening.
then
Yes.
motherfucking fool
nah,
for that, boy.
nah, then 10K. We giving y'all
All right,
10
let's make it.
then.
Listen, I'll make it even tougher though. Let's say 40.
No, I'm not giving
40K a
y'all
year.
10. I'll give
Nah,
y'all
10 is
10K.
10 is some bullshit, bro.
No,
10 is
no,
some bullshit.
if I just take my money and just be in my house all day by myself, then y'all gonna be making 10K.
Nah,
pretty
we
much
nah.
that's what y'all saying. Oh, if you bought a yacht, you can't invite people over, then that's help, right? Like then am I just not how am I gonna enjoy my money? Like, no, then y'all gonna be
You're
making
not. You just
10K a
gonna have
year.
it.
All right, 10K a year.
Nah, we not gonna.
In Cali.
That's crazy. We'll just wrap this episode up on that
All
That's
note.
right,
right.
all right, all right.
Nah,
So you could take
10K.
you could take you could take you could take people on your boat of the five people. The five people that you choose, you can invite them like wherever you want to go. But that's
not
it.
help them
Yeah, choose
not help them financially. Not help them financially.
for 10,000 is nah. Come on, man.
We're not doing
Nah,
that.
all right. Then I'm not
10,000
doing
is
that too. I'm gonna help people on my boat, man. Everyone, y'all gonna come too. Talking about I can only have five people financially.
so Diamond's taking the 10 million, only taking only helping 5 people for the rest of his life.
financially, let's make that clear.
And we take it to 100K. and
Ten,
helping
ten
10
100K,
K,
million.
and we helping 10 million,
10K.
10 million,
Nah,
10
but
million, man.
it was a good one though.
Yeah, it's good, and I think
Right,
but that was the original pieces to connect those two pieces, man. Like
right,
for anybody who missed the beginning of it, we was talking about financial success versus cultural relevance, and
right,
actually really helping people and having some type of impact. You know what I mean? So what it boils down to is it's the best to have both. You know what I
right.
mean?
I
Have that
agree.
cultural relevance and help those people around you, man.
Yep.
Even having 10 million a year ain't worth not helping nobody unless you ask Diamond. That is, you know.
Five people, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Nah,
got it. Yeah.
but
But shout
no,
out to
thank.
everybody that tapped in, man. We definitely
Right,
appreciate y'all rocking, man. Even on a Tuesday, we still manifesting. We should be back to regular schedule programming next week. We'll be back on Monday, man. But follow us at the Spot Network Official on all social media platforms. We share gems. We just share conversation, share energy, share life.
right.
And we share some other dope shit too. Like, tap in on our YouTube. We got DJ sets, we got other things that are coming. Yeah, it's exciting, man. But we'll be back next Monday. Other than that, man, take the 100K, man.
Nah, take the 10 mil.
B,
Take the
just
10 mil.
take the high road, take the 100K. That's where we at with it.
10
Uh,
bands, 100 bands. All right, fellas. Peace out, man.
but we
Yeah.
All right,
appreciate everybody tapping in. We'll see y'all next week, man.
All
yes,
right.
sir. All right, y'all.